Shelby County, Tennessee, the judge called me the N-word. It really got nasty in there at that point in time. He thought I was on his docket and not a lawyer.
Okay, so what exactly did he say, and what led him to him actually saying that?
What, 40 years ago? Just his bigoted, racist way of doing things. He's dead now. He died in 2008 after staying on a bench until 2006. What happened is I had a woman that I agreed to represent pro bono, that is, without charging her anything, because she appealed to my good graces and needed help. She was being accused of being the mother of somebody's daughter, and she had never had a daughter. So it had drug on for 8 years, and...
Now, listen, they're saying that she had a daughter. She's saying, I never gave birth to a child. A lot of you individuals, when you go to court, you allow them to set the table for the discussion. Courts aren't supposed to do that.
Somebody needed to speak up for her, and the magistrate or the lawyer that was hired by the juvenile court to hear things decided he didn't have time. So basically, that wasn't going to stay as it was. Yeah, I just did what I had to do. It's like King demonstrated, Abernathy, Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown. You know, we have a long series of moments in this country's history where somebody had to speak out, got in trouble for it, got arrested for it. In the end, your objection to the wrong prevailed and things got corrected, maybe.
Right. Now, you represented her pro bono in this case.
Yes, and I got the matter dismissed. They had issued a warrant with nobody having sworn to anything. Nobody signed anything. There was a...
Now, I heard what the judge just said. That is Judge Joe Brown, by the way. Judge Joe Brown said they issued a warrant when nobody have sworn to anything, meaning information that was sworn to the judge as to the reason why the judge issued the warrant. He also said that nobody signed off on the warrant. Every warrant needs a signature. If a judge signs off on a warrant and the information is frivolous, that judge can get in trouble.
Stamp. It should have been dismissed years ago. It had been dismissed the first time she was down there, but they picked it back up, so enough's enough. So that's just what I've been about over the years. Now, I'll say this is interesting. I think a thing has developed around the whole country over the last few years, and I think we're going retro. It looks like there's been progress, but there's not. We're slipping back. And we have institutions that have become insulated, isolated, and protected from review. We've got privatization, and that's very rampant in juvenile courts, where you make money off of the handling of juveniles and family affairs, child support matters, custody matters, paternity, visitation, that kind of thing, and it's gotten insidious. You've got this thing called Correctional Corporation of America that's begun to take over the jails, penitentiaries, and penal systems for a large number of states, and their interest is making money for their stockholders.
All right, that was Judge Joe Brown. What the judge is talking about is a lot of municipalities, they rationed out the family court process. The reason why is because I tell individuals, as I have been telling individuals for years, there's actually no laws governing family court. There can't be. So what is the law governing family court? Can they actually write into law the mother should have the child no matter what? They can't do that. So what you don't understand is when you go to court, you're being invited into a circus. And because criminal court requires evidence, requires alibis, requires all this by law, so no one gets discriminated against. A lot of municipalities they're outsourcing family court. This is why I tell individuals, don't you ever deal with a magistrate. I'll get to that later on. But what you need to understand is family court is a system that is rationed out and there are no laws governing it. This is why what the judge just said, there's something real foul going on. We started to get some traction, but now we're going back.
Not doing anything about ensuring justice or the reduction of criminal activity. It's gotten hooked up these days with the fact that the United States alone in the Western world has not made any arrangements to retrain its ordinary workers who have been displaced by industrial technology and computerization. And the justice system, the juvenile system, has morphed into a set of devices that are used to control surplus labor. In other words, remove people from the job market, keep them from being employable, and open up opportunities for smart entrepreneurs to make a lot of money off of housing them in penal systems. So it's not very good.
What the judge is basically saying is the American justice system, they're outsourcing jobs and they're not retraining those individuals that lost their jobs. But to ensure that they're on standby, they're increasing the capacity of the prison system. So they're increasing the capacity of the prison system, waiting for that person that they done took their job from them to commit a crime, so now they can make money for them. The judge also said that the justice system have become a privatization. They are privatizing it. And they're privatizing it so that they can do us wrong without having to answer for it. Listen.
I want to get into all this, but I just want to set up the timeline of actually what happened in terms of your situation. So you represented this woman pro bono. You came into the court, and I guess something actually happened between you and the judge in the courtroom?
There's no judge in the courtroom. There is a person named Harold Horn that got hired a few months out of law school back in the 80s because his uncle and the judge at the time were friends, and that's all he's done is sit down there and make rulings. The reason he even came into being is because the judge at the time dropped out of the 8th grade and the state Supreme Court said he was literally too ignorant and educationally infirm to preside as a judge. So he collected the paycheck and the taxpayers had to pay for 5 to 7 referees and special judges to do what he was elected to do but was not allowed to do.
The judge said there was no judge, and there never, ever will be when wrong is done. Judges have learned to say, hey, listen, this is something that's going to obviously go sideways. I'm going to hand it to a magistrate. I'm going to hand it to a referee. I'm going to give it to somebody who got a done in lighting, whatever them creatures are called. When you are going to court and you are going to court to seek justice, do not, under any circumstances, refer to anyone other than a judge. Don't do it. The court systems are privatizing. And when they are privatizing, they are disattached from the codes of conduct that judges are supposed to be adhered to. You need me for services, please give me a call. Text me, 757-551-1345. Text HELP, and we'll get you started. My consultations are $49.99. My services, $499. Guarantee you results. Catch you on the next one. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all.